nothing but a shit show. And if you don't give a fuck what people say, you're better off, really. If I gave a fuck what people thought about me, Jesus Christ. Do it. Let's fucking wrestle. Fuck you and your goddamn 4 tits. I will poke your fucking tits out. I will bash you in the head, and I will, I'll bring you down the street, bitch. Let's fight. Maybe that's why I got told no a lot. Maybe that's why I didn't get the big money or anything like that, because I basically told everyone to fuck off. Listen, asshole. I can't help that video. Every other word is fuck you, fuck God. Where did 4 tits come from? I
think you were talking about somebody that you love, and I can't remember who it was.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hi, everybody. It's the Queen of Carnage, and there she is.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Trash Talk. It is so good to be here. We are here. Yay. We made it. Big Red and myself. So we've been gearing up for this week's story, the Menendez Brothers.
Cubanos, yes, ma'am. Potty Mouthing the Way is going to be a t-shirt available at Madusa.com.
Do what? I missed all of that. What?
Morty says Potty Mouthing the Way is going to be is our brand.
Oh, potty mouthing the way. Well, you know what? If I gave a fuck, really, come on.
She actually has a shirt, guys, available at One True Sport, and we could make it available at Madusa.com that says, "Nice to meet you, don't fuck with me."
Yes, and I should make it available.
I'm not wearing it tonight. I'm representing Uranus.
Missouri. Okay, wait a minute. We're going to get to that story, Mr. Proud Fudge Pecker. So listen. So not only have we been talking about this Menendez Brothers story, but him and I love like these trial and murders and just kind of history type of stories, and to have our thoughts on the whole thing and what we think was good, bad, indifferent, or bullshit, or how we see it. Not that we're correct. We're not trying to tell anybody that their job was wrong, but we will say that we thought was something bullshit or was good or undermining or overmining, whatever. But I think there's a lot more to stories when you hear other people's opinions. And then you just take whatever you think and you just throw it all in a bowl and you get fucking word salad, and then you choose what you want to do. So, what you want to come up with. So, and that's how I feel about a lot of these stories. If it's the 9/11 bullshit, if it's the JFK, if it's the Menendez brothers, if it's Marilyn Monroe, if it's the Manson murders, if it's, so on and so forth. I just think there's some twisted, crazy fucking people, and their motives are just insane. And the people that are actual jurors that fall for this shit. But we're going to get, elbow deep into it. And speaking of elbow deep, there's this place called Fudge Pack in Uranus in Missouri. Move your head there, Big Red. So you got Fudge Uranus. It's a fudge factory. And they're famous, and they just opened up like a second place. And this place is amazing. And so world-renowned great fudge, by the way. So I saw this, and I got my awesome producer a great Christmas gift. I got him something else, but if he ever wants to share that with you, that's up to him. But I did get him this t-shirt. Come on back, Big Red. And stand up. What does it say? It says
Uranus Fudge Factory. The best fudge comes from Uranus, Route 66, Uranus, Missouri.
Yeah, stand up. Let me see. Can we see your feet? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
See, that's a great t-shirt. But on their website, everybody, they have a lot of different t-shirts. I got Alan some great t-shirts. I got him a hat. It says "Make Uranus Great Again."
And wore it last time we were together.
Yes, that's right. I did. That's Alan's hat, actually. And so anyway. Oh, wait, here's mine. Did I show you mine?
She's breaking out the props, folks. Here we go. The Uranus pickers.
Isn't that great?
The
I love
fact
it.
that they have such a marketing mind for this
They
just
do.
warms me, and it really does because I'm a salesman, so this is very fun for me.
Great marketing.
Yeah, it is. It's phenomenal. And Medusa said she's gonna send me something. I opened it and I sent her a text of it laughing, said this is a great shirt. I'm gonna wear it. I don't know that she believed me that I would wear this shirt.
No, I didn't think you would. I'm like, there's no way. Oh, whatever. But who knows? Put it past him. You're a good time, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Imagine
okay,
you
so
imagine if you knew me when I drank.
oh, I couldn't imagine.
Oh, we would have
No,
an
I
awesome
couldn't.
time.
No, I couldn't.
Yeah, this
Mortis
is
says something
decaf
like,
for
"Hey, Red, you
those of
need a
you wondering.
sound button that has Captain America says language."
Yeah, Mortis is giving us tips here, Deuce. The problem is I'd have to use it on myself because we about to talk about
Yes.
before we get to the most hated
Yes.
woman of the 1990s, Leslie Abramson, not Deborah Maselli.
Yeah.
Because Medusa ain't got shit on Leslie Abramson.
Oh boy. Oh
But we're
boy.
gonna
She would
talk
have been
about
a great woman heel character as a manager ringside.
sensational Sherry like in that just
Yes.
everybody she just walk out and people would boo her. Like they
Oh
just
my
want to
God.
see Hogan drop the big atomic, the whatever atomic drop where he used to drop her ass onto his knee or whatever, or where he
Yes.
spanked Sherry. That's what they would want to see happen to Leslie Abramson.
That's the kind of heat she got, no matter where or what. But,
Mega
but
heat.
that woman didn't have empathy.
Nope. No,
It's
and
like she was like on the spectrum of a weird person where you don't that those type of people don't have empathy. They don't know how. Like there isn't. It's all brick walls. Like there's no care. Like even listening to her at the time, which we'll get into it. I mean, she had a child. She basically wrote it off and said it was because, well, she chose her career. Now she'll really try to be a mother and want to adopt or go through IVF, whatever she said. I don't know. But she was really trying with her husband, but she made her career first again with the fuck,
Menendez. Yeah, Menendez.
Menendez brothers.
You can call him Eric
Um,
and Lyle if you want. It's fine.
Men the fucking yeah, the rotten kids. So, yeah. So, when she got that call to represent them, it's basically she kept putting the adoption people on notice again, and her husband's just like, "Fuck it." It's like, again, she chose her career over that, and it just goes to show you, some people weren't made to have children.
No. Some people weren't. Before we get to Leslie, because she is a hot button. Another hot button, Saturday night's main event, San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Look who
Oh,
showed
look
up,
at that.
everybody. Look at Fluffy. No, I'm kidding. Medusa is here with the women's title you never lost.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I crept that bitch right in there. No problem.
let's talk about Saturday night's main event. Obviously, this is a Sean and Hunter deal and all that. How did it come to be? What was it like? I saw the makeup. Oh, by the way,
Yada,
agree
yada,
with
yada.
me, to all of your listeners, agree with me that Medusa is a blonde in this picture. I sent her a text that said, "What the fuck, Deborah?" Because I thought she dyed her hair blonde, and it's just the lighting, clearly, because this is how she came out on the show.
Yes, it was the
Everybody vote for Big
lighting.
Red and tell her that she definitely looked blonde here. And my shock was warranted. Anyway, back to you.
Anyway, I digress. So,
How did it come to be? How much fun did you have? I saw you with Heyman and LA Knight. I saw you with some of the legends, DiBiase and Duggan and the guys backstage. Tell us all about it. And then we're going to talk about a horrible murder trial.
Yeah. Okay. So, actually, they gave me a heads up this time, and it was maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks. They asked me if I wanted to go to San Antonio, and I was like, "Wow, okay." Sorry. long day. And so I'm like, wow, they gave me a heads up this time. It wasn't like 3 days before and then canceled on me. But yeah. So they let me know and it was legit. They told me it was for Saturday night. They're going to have some of the let's legends out there and could you do some interviews, some digital, some social media, and then sit in the crowd. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a cool night. Absolutely. And I love that show. I mean, this is the second time, right? Hmm. So I mean, gosh, they treated me very well again. I mean, nothing but class act. And I was so comfortable, and it was so relaxing. The atmosphere was. I'm just gonna say it like it was. Um, the atmosphere was nice, it was comfortable, people were approachable, they were very accommodating, and this is not blowing smoke up anyone's ass, and y'all know that I just wouldn't say something to say something. So, they were just God, I don't even know how to they're just cordial, right? I mean, from the talent to the workers um, to the office, to, the handlers, just everything. Now, I did have a psycho broad on the plane on the way home, that's another story. I thought, "Oh my god, do I have to throw this bitch out?" Oh my god, it was that bad. But anyway, other than that, it was a really good time. So, I got there, got the room, my own room, Legends room, and, got ready, got my makeup and hair done. And the ladies always do a great job. I just want something simple, kind of plain, just easy on the face and just crimping on the hair. And yeah, and I thought, I'm going to bring my title. Why not? That's what I'm known for, I mean, the champion that's never been beat. I've never been defeated for that. So, I am gonna bring it with me, and I did, and I crept it on out, made sure when he brings up the picture again, we'll look at it. The red duct tape was on the F, I made sure of that. So, there was no problems, and yeah, so what else? And it was great seeing everybody. I walked around, said hello to a few people. I sat down and spoke to Paul for a while. He's doing great. And then he got a plate served to him and he ate a big old steak right before he went out. And what was really cool when I was sitting out there for the whole show, sitting next to Fluffy and then Mark Henry. Let me tell you, Mark Henry's a stitch. He's a stitch, all right. Oh my God. Talk about a very cool just a cool man, just cool man, just yeah. And so full of himself, like, I mean, very knowledgeable. Just it was really great to sit next to him. Um, so sitting out there through the night, there's only like a match or 2 left, and I got summoned and they like, "Blaze, Hunter wants to see you." And I went, "Oh shit. Here I am gonna get fired again before I'm even a part of anything again." And because of the title, right? But he said it was cool, it was a great idea. I got his blessing, and so he just said it was I just wanted to say hello and thanks for coming out, and they're gonna be doing stuff with Legends. So I was really happy to hear that. He was so cordial, and Sean was so nice, and so overall, I had a great experience. Very happy. Very, very happy.
So before I hopped on here with you, I of course was on with Arn and Tully in
Yeah.
the
Oh, and Arn was there. Did Arn
background.
tell you what I said to him?
No, the Brainbusters were there, but what did Medusa say to Arn Anderson?
So I saw Arn and I walked up to him and I like went to take my shoe and he's like, "No." And again, I love seeing Arn. Arn looked good, by the way. Arn didn't really look like he aged. Arn looked really the best. He looked really good. And of course,
Well,
Ted
and
was there and Hacksaw.
yeah,
And
and he's lost
Dory
some.
and Tully. Was Tully there?
Tully was there, yeah. The
Yeah, Tully
Brainbusters
was
were
there.
there,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am. So Arn has lost some weight. He's gotten really committed back to dieting and not eating so many sweets.
Who?
And Arn,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
put he's taken some of the pounds off a little bit.
Okay,
And of
that's good.
course,
You wanna hear something funny?
Go ahead.
Since I said I didn't know that. So I was sitting there, I was drinking tea all night, and he comes walking in and he's looking around. And I don't think he saw me. And then he walked right over to the snacks and he was going to grab some cookies or donuts or something. And I was just being funny because I mean, I didn't know what you just told me. I stood up. I said, dude, you don't want to do that. Walk away from that fucking table. Like that, really serious. He's like, oh my God, Deuce. Oh my God, I needed that. Thank you so much. God, you just saved me. And he walked away.
So the joke was on the show, we used to get people to take him a Hershey's with almonds because that was his
What?
favorite candy bar. So for the meet and greets, people would bring him candy bar after candy bar after candy bar. It got to the point where he actually asked that people quit bringing him candy bars,
That's what
or
they
he was,
did to me because my
or he,
favorite candy bar is the Butterfinger.
well, there you go. Because
And
he
I
said he
get
was going to lose
Butterfingers.
600 pounds. And ma'am, what are you doing eating something with food dye in it after lecturing me about primes?
I didn't say now I can't say this in front of all my fans because 'cause it'll disappoint them. So I would take the Butterfingers and thank them, and I'd bring it to my room, and then I would give them to the kids as I got on the plane.
So you didn't actually eat them. Okay.
But I
Well,
could
they are a good
smell them.
candy 'em.
I'd be like this,
Oh my god.
"Oh my
They give
god,
them to
those."
the little kid on the airplane.
Yeah, "Here you go. Here you go, little kid." No, they don't see me sniff them. I mean, you can smell Butterfingers. I mean, they're just strong.
Yeah, two things will wrap it up. Here's the picture. You said you wanted to show us.
Yes.
So,
See right there, the duct tape right there by my finger? Yep.
yep. And you did a great job of putting your finger over top of it, by the
Yes.
way.
Thank you.
Um,
See,
so
that's a professional.
Very much so. Also, Triple H went out of his way to thank Tully and Arn, which is why I initially started that conversation. Said the
Yeah.
exact same thing. We're going to have legend. It's very clear he respects and is excited about the business, the
Yes.
history, the current, and the future.
He
And I want to ask
understands.
you about the future of the business.
Yeah.
You saw two women wrestle, or you were featured after two women wrestled that probably, like yourself, could wrestle men and have wrestled men in Nia Jax's case, but you saw
Yeah.
Nia and you saw Rhea.
Yeah.
Um, I believe Nia is an ultimate utility player. I think she can have a good match. I think she's still physical and imposing. She's lost some weight. She's been
Yeah,
less
she looked good
clunky.
coming out.
She
Yeah.
looks phenomenal, and she is
Yeah.
a beautiful woman. I don't
Oh
care
my
to
god,
see.
you should have heard everybody.
Yeah,
Mark Henry sat there and he just went, "My god, is she beautiful." I said, "I know. She's an absolute beautiful woman." I'm fucking believable. Yeah.
and she doesn't need the makeup.
No,
Like,
she
she doesn't need the
don't.
makeup. No.
She is one of the naturals without makeup, like, so good.
And then Rhea, of course, has all the makeup,
Yeah.
because that's part of her gimmick. But
Mhm.
Medusa, you had the bird's eye view.
Yes.
I thought it was a fine match. I thought there were a couple things that didn't go quite as well as they wanted, like when they did the electric chair. Nia's a big girl. It's late in the match. Rhea tries to
Nia
pull her,
coulda helped a little bit more with that.
didn't get her over. Yeah,
No.
and I know, and I saw the same thing.
Yep.
But what I wanted to ask you, you're seeing the future of women's wrestling right in
Yes.
front of you.
Yes.
What are your thoughts after watching those two heavy hitters? Because they ain't little, they're not little, either one of them, and they're
Yes.
big, strong, physical, athletic. Your thoughts watching that?
Okay, so watching these 2 women right away when they come out, they each have their own identity. So they're completely different. So right away that catches my eye as a fan. Now, the reason why I say that, why I think it's so important is because it's 2 different people I'm watching, 2 different aspects, 2 different characters, 2 different styles completely. So to me, that is already super interesting. When you got people that are coming out that have the same color of clothes, the same hair, the same outfits that look the same, that are sparkly and pretty. I just, I get lost a little bit. I love characters. I don't care if you're a good looking woman or if you have a gimmick and you're good looking or bad look, whatever. I need different identities as far as who's out there, because as far as just like keeping nostalgic and things like and keeping the CAC alive. You always want to keep the home base. You want to keep nostalgic. You want to keep what the foundation and what it was built on, right? Same with wrestling. You don't want to forget a good guy and a bad guy per se, or who's the attacker and who's the lesser and who's the you know what I mean? You've got to have that type of. Now you're going to once in a while have people that of the same nature, but one is always the aggressor. You know what I mean? And that's how it helps me keep my interest. Um so with these two women, I mean, it was I think it was a slow match, really. I don't think it was too fast paced. Um, I both look great. I think Naya could have helped a little bit more in some of her moves, but I think that for them, I think they went about what they went a little bit longer than I expected, really.
Right at
Um,
12 minutes, not to interrupt you. Right at 12
12
minutes.
minutes, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and so I thought that was pretty good, considering except for the ass grabbing on both, but, ass grabbing, pussy grabbing, whatever it was, trying to lift each other up, and both of them quoted each other on it on social media. It was kind of funny. I thought that was funny, but, yeah, I think that seeing that type of sphere, like that type of momentum and that type of, um I don't not it's not a balance, but an unbalance in a good way of women's wrestling is going to keep me involved. It's going to keep me wanting to see the women. Now, you're going to have women that come out that are just hard hitting and that have the psychology, and that's actually you can tell when those people are so super superior. I mean, in their craft, not as a person above the other one, that they actually carry the other person, and you could tell by those people by how much they sell for the other one and how much they position themselves for the other one so they can help get them over and the other person can get them over. There's always that lead carrying that person, right? And you can tell who that is. Could you tell who that was in that match?
My opinion was that actually Nia was leading the match.
You think so?
And
Well,
it sounds like you think it
her
was Rhea.
her character probably maybe made you feel that way. You know what I mean? I think because it's more prominent. She's very believable in her dominance. And that's good because if it's getting over like that, that's good. She's doing something great. You know what I mean? Um, I think that the quickness of Rhea is good. I'm trying to think of I think it was I'm not going to say one or the other, but I think it was almost even between them.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, and the one thing that I like about Nia Jax, there are people that'll say it's slow or plotting or deliberate, but here's the thing. She knows where the camera is all the time. She has incredible facials, high impact moves, and she makes her minutes count. When she is out there with the bright lights on, she makes her minutes count. The other thing is, Madusa, you can't feed every single woman in the division to Rhea Ripley. You have to have believable opponents for her to be able to wrestle.
Yes,
And Nia Jax is
exactly.
more than adequate and
Yes,
believable to take on Rhea Ripley.
it was believable, and that's what had me engrossed too, not just the 2 opposite characters, but just the believability of it. So, yeah, that's a high interest.
Yeah, I am thrilled that the way they're going. If you didn't see, um, of course, Tessa made her return to TNA. Jordan Grace made her finale. Jordan Grace has just signed with WWE long-term
Yes.
contract. That's a big get for that company. Another woman that's got a different style, different body type, different match structure. But make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen, the diamond is back and reminded everybody at TNA's pay per view
Mm.
why she's one of the best wrestlers in the world, male or female. So Tessa put everybody on notice. She needs to be a good citizen, Deuce, but she looked fantastic
Yeah,
in
she
that
did.
match.
I'm her
So
biggest fan, man. You know how I feel about Tessa. I'm always
I
rooting for
know,
her.
and we're talking Menendez Brothers tonight. We're not going to talk Tessa, but
Okay,
because we
okay,
hadn't talked
okay.
about Tessa, I mention it because we love the women's wrestling here. Now, one other thing before we roll into the Menendez Brothers. I want you all to participate in the conversation. Put your chats in, ask your questions. If you remember something a different way than we do, that's cool. We'll read it. We'll help you out. But I do want to mention from our Twitter friends, the Sit Down Standout Show podcast. Hi, everyone. Thanks, Madusa. I just finished reading your book. Thanks for sharing your story.
Oh, thank you so much for even, taking the time and reading it. And I don't know where you got the book, if it was at one of my appearances or if you got it on Amazon, but just leave a review if you did buy it on Amazon, please. It keeps us at that high ratings in Amazon. Not that I get extra money, I don't, but it's good because if I want to write another one, that really helps because that's where all the other good juicy stories are.
She's writing another one, folks. Just write the reviews so that they give her a better deal. That's what she meant to say. Now let's say hi to some of the friends real quick. Deadpool is here. Allison Faye, my bestie. Mortis, as we know, thinks we need a button. Mad Mods, that would be Winter. Shout out to Winter Deuce. She did a lot of research on this.
Again, another researcher. Yeah,
and
amazing.
Love it. Darren Walker is here. C-Note back again. Digger Fans MSG. Who is that?
Who's who?
Know. Digger Fan MSG.
Yeah, he's a Digger fan. He's a monster truck.
Didn't you bury Gravedigger back in the day, Deuce?
I did. I beat his ass in World Finals. Thank you. Yep. Ford beat Chevy. Yep. That's right. Student beats teacher. Man, a woman beats man. Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Okay, Lollipop is here. Everybody, welcome. If I missed you, I apologize. We're happy you're here. So apparently we got a Digger is amazing comment. Madusa.
Yeah, fuck my mods. What are you talking about? Jesus. You're supposed to be on my side, you dirt balls. Damn it.
Oh, well, speaking of damn it.
I love my mods though. Yes.
You do. They're great. And August, and again, shout out to Winter for doing the research because she even gave me the date. August the 20th, 1989. Jose and Kitty Menendez were brutally murdered, shot to death in their house in Beverly Hills. Their palatial estate, if you will. I don't know that people understand the wealth of Beverly Hills. That's the house.
That one right there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep, the one with the pool.
Was that in Calabasas? No, that was in Beverly Hills.
This one's Beverly Hills, yes, ma'am.
Okay, they were in Calabasas, though.
Yeah, so they were, and then, of course, the kids started stealing everybody's stuff, including money.
Oh, that's right, and they had to move. Okay.
They had to move, yeah.
So that's the house they were shot in. Go back, put that up again.
Yeah, no problem.
Please, sorry.
August 20th, 1989.
So this is what I don't get. Like, look at the house like right next door. Did they not hear the gunshots? I mean, they were fucking shotguns, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, they were shotguns. And the one thing about it is when you do the research, Winter, myself, you, everybody else.
Yes.
The cops weren't called until Lyle Menendez actually called the police. And he
from the house in the room.
Yeah, the 911 phone call. After they tried to come back from the Batman movie, if you remember that part. Now, guys, a lot of this was in the documentary on Netflix. I thought the documentary is fine. However, it takes a specific angle we're going to talk about later in the show.
Yeah, there's two different ones, really, but yeah.
Yeah. For anybody that loves true crime, I remember my mother worked the night shift, so she would record this on the old VHS tapes and then watch the trial later.
I can't. I just can't.
It was on Court TV. CourtTV.com still has the entire trial, Madusa. I swear to God.
Court TV does?
You can watch the entire trial on Court TV. Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to have to go back and watch it on there.
Because we watched a lot of reenactments, read about it, that sort of stuff. I'll be honest with you, I didn't watch a whole lot of it. And then we're doing the research, and I'm finding it on Court TV. So let me ask you this, just to set this up. This is August 20th, 1989. Are you in Japan? Or are you somewhere else? Are you in the United States?
I'm in Japan. I had no fucking idea what was going on.
Okay. So how did you find out about this trial?
The Inquirer.
Okay.
The Inquirer.
So like the news rags, like the National Enquirer. Now,
yes.
Was this in the United States where you were reading the Inquirer, or did they have that in Japan? And that's where you saw it? In Japan. Got it. She's drinking water, folks, if you're listening only.
Yep. Yep.
But so you saw this in the news magazines or the National Enquirer, whatever, in Japan. Okay. And because they commit the murder in 1989, they're not arrested until 1990. There's
Yeah.
a 2-year delay because of procedure and evidence and all this other stuff so they're not even on trial till 1993. Now, obviously, by that time, you're
They
back in the
sat
United
in
States.
jail, though, didn't they, there for a
Yes.
while?
They sat in jail from 1990 to 1993. And then they were in jail the whole time they were on trial, but the trial didn't start until 93. And I don't want to jump the gun too much, but of course, Robert Shapiro has a lot to do with some of this. And
Cochran, even Cochran had some influence.
Yeah, so Cochran, the timing could not be worse for the Menendez brothers.
Exactly.
The second trial, especially.
Are we jumping the gun here?
We're jumping the gun. We got to back up. But yeah.
Okay, let's back up before we go.
All right. So the murder is committed, multiple shotguns. Kitty Menendez was shot 10 times. Jose Menendez was shot 6 times.
By 12-gauge shotguns.
By 12-gauge Mossberg shotguns. If anybody knows anything about shotguns, that means they reloaded them and shot them again. Because even if you have the tube taken out of them that prevents you from having more than 3 shells inside the shotgun, you're not going to fire 16 times out of 2 guns. They reloaded the guns, shot her again, and shot him. And she was crawling away for her life. So anyway, that's kind of where that was with Kitty and the violent nature of this crime.
Let's back up.
Go ahead, Madusa.
So the alleged story, just stay with me. Don't part me and put me in front here. So don't fucking leave me, God damn it. Anyway, so the story of reasoning of this is when I did my diligence on this, my research, there are lots of interviews from other people, from friends, family, doctors, students, neighbors. So collectively, I just kind of put all of those together to try to find out what was real, what could have been some type of substance of realism to their story. I think that the father had true intentions of coming from, he was Cuban, yeah?
Cubano, yes, ma'am.
Yes. And he had all the intentions to come into, America, and he married his love of his life, and he wanted to become something. And I thought his story from the base was great. He was a dishwasher. He worked his way fucking up. And the guy, the owner of the place where he worked, bought him a book. And I want to get my hands on that book. I can't think of the name of that book. If anyone can find the name of that book that guy gave the Mr. Menendez when he was a dishwasher at the restaurant, that book, I want to read it. Anyway, so he said that book helped him, and he reread it hundreds of times, and it helped him get to the next level of him being success of whatever he did, which I really didn't understand. What did he do?
He was a record executive.
Just a record executive, or did he get into porn later? Or what?
No, videos? It was music. It was music.
It was music? Okay. So my understanding is that he got all that. Then they had kids, and allegedly there was some grumbling within family that there could have been something going on, and the mother may have known about it. Now, we have heard of this happening in families. We do know that this does take place, that the mother does not believe the child. And because for whatever reason, they just don't like conflict and they don't want to fucking believe it. Okay. So let's just say alleged that this was true. Shame on her, and she was the basis of this whole fucking problem. If this was all true, this is a whole nother scenario. If she knew
Mhm.
what was happening to these kids, if they were raped by their father, and he was doing it to Lyle, the oldest first, and then Lyle adapted that as a young boy, 5 or 6 years old, as he grew up. He thought that was the way, the Roman way, and this is the way his dad taught him. He ended up, as he went on and started doing it to his brother because his dad did. That type of manipulation, that type of teachings really do happen. And those are basic true stuff. However, the problem is that none of these stories really got out until the Menendez boys started reading books like how does a child kill their parents or whatever that one book was they read
And
and
he
got
wrote
all
it.
their
He wrote that,
yeah.
yeah, he wrote that play.
And well, he wrote a play with another friend, but he also had read a book about how to kill your parents as a child or something like that. It's fucking weird. And so you got to think, listening to everybody else that he was a father that was strict and he wanted things a certain way. And Kitty was always trying to do things to keep his love because he was a floundering man. He did have other affairs with other women. So, who I start with that basis. If a man is starting to do that and he's cheating on his wife, there's going to be friction. There's going to be problems within the home that we don't even know about. But it's like they really didn't emphasize on that much. Why? I don't know, because that is a problem within the family because it ruins the wife, the kids. The wife takes it out on the kids. And she basically was saying that, I just didn't want these kids. They were a waste of time, But then again, she felt the umbilical cord was still attached when they were sleeping and she fucking still loved them. I mean, they're fucking deranged or something. I don't know. So these are just kind of the factual things that I was getting from this stuff. And then it just mainly, I'm gonna say more of a percentage said that they never really heard yelling, screaming, or abuse to the children. Other people have heard and said that they saw the kids being arrogant and pompous and, um, you know, throwing the richness around and, whatever, all of the opulence of life and da 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 da. So I just feel that they put on a goddamn good show, these kids. Bottom line, I'm just gonna say this now. Bottom line, they murdered their parents. Period. They murdered their fucking parents.
Statement of fact.
S
Regardless of reason, motive,
y
whatever.
Regardless of reason, they murdered their parents with a fucking 2 shotguns, continuously shooting them for the fact because they said they were raped by their dad, and because
Correct.
they hated their mother because their mother knew. So I'm backing back up. If the mother knew from the very beginning, shame on her. She could have prevented all of this by doing something. You know what I'm saying? So I really
Mhm.
feel a lot of the weight, if this was true, the mother, if she was a good mother, she should have and would have, could have done something. So shame on her. If this is true, I'm going to put a lot of blame on her. I don't care if he was violent or not. She could have went to the police. But don't get me wrong. I understand that when you're scared, you don't have an escape. You can't just go because if he finds out, you're going to beat the shit out of you. I get all that. I've seen it. I've heard it. I'm a child of being raped by my own father, so I can speak in many ways about and on this case because I never had any intention of killing my fucking so-called biological father that I thought was. And it isn't. It's in the book, by the way. um, I never
I'm
had
only
those
smiling because of
thoughts.
the way you plugged it. It's in the book, by the
It's in the
way.
book, bitches. I mean, I never had those thoughts just because he raped me. I'm not trying to downsize it either because he was fucking whatever. But I never thought of killing him for fuck's sake. You know? I mean, he had life insurance and yeah, I was probably going to be given money and whatever, but you don't no. 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 So I think there was more to it. I think the kids they were so rich that and they just wanted it for themselves. The father just would not give in to these kids. I believe that he was very hard on them. He's Cuban. And then I'd done some research on Cuban men. And I kind of equivalent to when Lucy Arnaz was married to Desi. I mean, he reminded me of Desi Arnaz. The way he was, the way he acted and treated and whatever. And it was very rough for Lucy too, but that's another whole I'd love to get into that one too. That's a brilliant story, by the way. But she stuck up. Oh my God. Oh, anyway, that's a whole other story. Anyway, so I kind of was reflecting on them and how much they're alike and the nationalities, even though we're all sitting back, we're in America watching this, we're looking at different ethnics here and how he was raised and who he was and what their belief systems are. We can't forget, just because we're here in America, people raise their kids differently and I mean, if you're Catholic, if you're Jewish, if you're Iranian, if you're Saudi, if you're red, if you're Deb, or if you're, you know what I mean? It's just, we have different ways of whatever our belief systems are raising kids. And he was a Cuban by far. And my husband was talking to somebody who's yelling at someone on the phone.
Okay.
And then, so did you hear that dumb son of a bitch? Whatever. Anyway, so blah, blah, blah. I'm just going on. So anyway, what's your guys' take on that? So that's kind of in the nutshell how I think about the whole fucking story and again, another big story. You had these kids kill their fucking parents, live a lavish life, spend all of this money. What fucking kid or person would just take a shotgun and annihilate your family and then go buy Porsches and Rolexes? I'm sorry. They're Can you guys hear them?
No, I didn't hear him.
Okay.
No, but I thought, yeah, we've had enough technical difficulties tonight, ma'am. You sitting there freezing all of a sudden. Did you hear him?
Oh, sorry. No, I was listening to the hubby. Anyway, so yeah, I'm sorry. I just, you had the situation and they what a fucking planned thing. And you go out and do all of this and you're sitting out free, living in the house that you killed your parents, for fuck's sake. Jesus, how morbid. And I have no feelings. You fucking killed your parents. You should be in prison. They should have got the fucking death penalty as far as I'm concerned. And why we're paying taxes on these two fucking worthless pieces of shit, I don't know.
Well, there we go, folks. Madusa spoiled the ending.
God damn.
But
no, because they're coming up for a fucking trial, or they were. I don't know that's what my next question was. Anyway, so here we are
in March, and we'll get there. Documentary Menendez and Menudo. Oh, Kitty Cat has a comment here. You should really watch the trial footage and also the documentary Menendez and Menudo, Boys Betrayed. Jose was a world-class pedophile. So, he's not here to defend himself, and I don't defend pedophiles. What I'm saying is,
I'm not defending pedophiles. Jose was the dad, right?
Jose's the dad. But to Kitty Cat's point, that's the bend that they take in the show. And I want to make a point, Madusa, because you're talking about murder. We're talking about murder. It's not you. We're talking about murder. But you're also talking about now, 30 years later, what they, obviously are recalling a mitigating circumstance. They tried to do it in the first trial, which we'll get to.
Yes.
But men didn't claim rape in 1989. Sexual molestation, sexual assault, sexual abuse. This was novel, unique, first time, different, whatever you want to say it.
Okay.
Culturally, as I've called Jose a couple times a Cubano, he fled Castro's revolution for freedom in 1964, I believe it was. Maybe it was a little before then. But Castro comes to power in the 1950s. First thing he does is he gets rid of all the teachers and all of the educated what we would call in this country middle class folks. And Then he gets rid of anybody that's going to be a detractor. Jose comes to the United States, seeks a better life, marries Kitty, they have Lyle, they have Eric. He ends up becoming the RCA guy, but there is legitimacy in what Kitty Cat is saying, and we're going to get to it at the end of the show, where the singer for Menudo has come out and said that Jose sexually assaulted him as well. So there is a
Menudo. When did this
machismo.
come out?
2023 is what I have on the USA Today
How
article.
old is Menudo?
Huh?
How old is he?
Menudo is way old. It's a band. It's the
Right.
band that they featured in the documentary that they were signing, but only after the guy had sex with Jose.
Yeah, so he just now came out in 23?
Yeah, according to the USA Today article that I put inside the notes, yes, ma'am. Petition gave. Robert Rand, a journalist who covered the case since its inception, a former member of the band Menudo, Roy Rosello, has also alleged Jose Menendez drugged and raped him, which Rand said helped propel the murder case further into the spotlight. So that was 23, written by the USA Today.
Okay. So
and I just should pick those because it's just neutral. It's not political, whatever. But on the topic, before we move on, of culture, there's going to be machismo. The documentaries make it look like Jose Menendez himself is battling sexuality questions and issues. And maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. They also make it look like Eric is gay, and maybe he is. Certainly the shower scene got a lot of press on the internet for those of you playing along at home. I believe it's episode 3. You can go check that out.
yeah, but I love how they emphasize on stuff like that, right? And then I'm like, okay, so how and why did they emphasize on that? Well, maybe the guy that was in the shower, they interviewed him and that's what they told him. Right?
Could be.
How else are they going to get stuff like that?
Well, and that's what I said. There's a second trial, they were talking about, and this would makes it difficult because you're talking about a potential sexual assault victim who is gay, who has been caught giving oral sex to other prisoners. That was the accusation towards Eric Menendez in prison. Okay? Doesn't change the fact he could be a sexual assault victim. Doesn't. Absolutely doesn't. Also doesn't change the fact he's a murderer. To your point, circumstance or not, they killed
He's
their
a
parents.
murderer.
So
I was 8 years old. I was 8 years old when I finally went to Betty and told her my dad raped me. I was 8 and knew the difference. That's why I lived it. I know. I didn't take a shotgun later in life. I was 8 years old and said something. And they're my age.
yes,
Fuckers.
very much.
They're younger than me.
So I
can't buy that shit. No.
They're a few years younger than you. To the story, so they kill the parents, and for 90 minutes, Madusa, to your point, I showed you the picture of the house. Nobody came. The cops didn't come. They're picking the guns up. They're picking the shell casings up. They call the cops. Lyle does his big, and it's on the TV. Like it's recorded. Everybody can listen to it. The audio recording of Lyle Menendez calling 911, and Eric screaming in the background, and them crying about how somebody had shot their parents, and they blame the mafia and that sort of thing.
They acted it out, and they were. I just can't.
So they acted it out, but then they spent $700,000.
Oh, and then there's
in
that
in 1989. The 3 Rolexes you mentioned, the Porsche, the travel, the buying the restaurant and bar, all of this great stuff Winter put in the notes, and then like I said, we validated everything else, or verified rather. I said validated, wrong thing. So they don't become suspicious though until we get to this jerk off, who I want to talk about. This idiot right here, Dr. Ozell.
Yeah.
And his mistress, Smythe, Smythe, So she is going to actually be the one to tell the police that the Menendez brothers killed their parents. This guy right here has Eric Menendez as a patient. Eric Menendez confesses to murder to Dr. Ozell. And then, rather than go to the police, because there is no patient confidentiality once you've committed a crime, that doctor has no obligation to Eric Menendez to have his privacy. He has
Even back
no
then? Because I thought so. I thought they still couldn't, or is it a? But he couldn't prove. Well,
well,
I
no,
guess them
because
admitting allegedly, like we did it. I guess that's enough
when
for him to.
When Ozell said that Lyle threatened him,
Yeah.
doctor-patient confidentiality was waived. My
Okay.
understanding, though, is that the doctor can go to the police if you have committed or are thinking about committing a crime. So he's confessed to murder, regardless, to this psychiatrist, who then decides he's going to record every session and try to do something
For
with
his
this.
own benefit. Again,
Thank
there's
you.
another opportunist.
Thank you. So you're hearing this gory, horrible story about how your patient has killed his parents, and you don't even know up to this point about the sexual allegations, because the sexual allegations
Because
come.
Kitty and them were going. Their dad called him to. He first introduced Jose called him, this doctor, because the boys got busted in burglaries, like, the ungrateful bastards. They were all burglarizing houses.
Stole
Don't forget that.
$100,000 worth of cash and goods in 1988.
Yes.
It's a lot of money.
And
A
so their
lot of
dad, Jose, had to find a doctor, and he found this doctor, and that's how they were introduced. And even their mother would talk to him occasion about how she felt and being married and having children and all of this shit. So it was like a family affair there. It's just weird. I thought the doctor could only do one person at a house at a time.
Yeah, I would think that there'd be a conflict of interest there,
Yeah.
particularly if you're talking about like sex crimes and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So Ozell continues to record these therapy sessions and conversations and all of this stuff. And please, guys in the chat, weigh in on this. Don't let me and Medusa do all the talking. You have questions, ask them. But
Yes.
the Ozell guy, he's taking notes and he's recording and he's talking to his mistress. He won't leave the mistress. So out of spite, when she leaves his ass, she goes to the police.
No, he left her.
Did he leave
He
her?
left her and said, "Look, you psycho bitch, you want to change my whole house around. You want to take my kid. You want to tell my kid that you're the mother and not the real mother. I'm fucking out of here." That's when she got pissed off, said, "Fuck you. You fucked around, fuck around and find out." And she went to the cops.
I thought she left him because he wouldn't leave the wife.
Well, at first, but then again, he schmoozed his way in like most dudes do,
Oh, okay.
promises her the
Okay,
fucking
I got you.
everything, and usually
Okay.
the guys are full of shit, and, they end up fucking not doing what they say they're gonna do because they usually don't fucking do it because they're telling one story when they're with their wife, and they tell the other one. Okay, don't get me started. That's a whole nother story.
Yeah. So, bottom line is, he's having this affair. They're having this affair because it takes two to tango. We've established that on this show before.
Yes.
But
Yes.
they're having this affair. It ends badly. She goes to the police. And she is the one who dimes the Menendez brothers out. It isn't the cops that arrest them. They didn't find some evidence. They didn't.
Even though they all knew that the Menendez boys did it. They
had
knew,
the
but because
suspicion
they
for
did
sure.
not
Yeah.
they did not fingerprint the boys the day of, and they had shotgun residue everywhere. They still had shotgun shells in the back of their car when the cops pulled up. They had fucking bullets. It was disgusting. They
Yep.
fucked up. They didn't even nothing test them for residue. They lost it. That's why
Well,
it took them fucking a year.
here's a spoiler, folks. At some point, we're going to talk about the OJ trial, and the LAPD screwed up there too.
Well, it's because of that one and the Rodney King. They had to set a precedence. That's where we'll talk about why they got what they did, I think. Anyway, yes.
Well, you can't have the lead detective use the N word with the hard R on the grass for 35 times, during an
Right?
investigation. What is wrong with Mark Furman? Whole
I don't
nother
know.
story. We're gonna get there, but we're gonna talk about OJ in a few minutes. Okay,
Yeah.
so they're arrested. Robert Shapiro is the lawyer from the Dream Team. Again, OJ. It's Robert, it's F. Lee Bailey, and it's Johnny Cochran. If the glove don't fit, you must acquit. Um,
Yeah, that piece of shit. Anyway.
Robert Shapiro gets the first arraignment. He gets the younger brother, Eric, excuse me. He gets Eric to come back from Israel and turn himself in. He does the first
Shapiro did?
arraignment, and he has the meeting.
Shapiro did? I thought Abrams was there already.
No, she gets the case because he says he can't defend them.
Well, no, because he didn't believe him. He knew that they did it. He
He
fucking
can't
lied.
he
Anyway.
can't defend them. And
Yeah.
so it's gonna come out that 2 weeks before they're shot, Eric tells Lyle about all this sexual abuse, and they kill the parents. There's $15 million at stake. Potentially a will has been changed. Um, Records are deleted, all of that sort of thing. But to Medusa's point, one of the more controversial people in this whole deal
Lord,
is
kind
Leslie
of,
Abramson.
that's just that's such a 90s haircut.
Oh yeah, well we got another one. There she is with the boys, and they're actually
Whoa.
in the prison garb. And then here she is with her another attorney.
Whoa.
So make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very highly intelligent, well educated, well spoken, extremely manipulative practitioner of the law.
Yes.
Um,
Solicitor.
and she saw her moment because right now, in the timeline, Rodney King has not happened yet. This is 1990. Rodney King has not happened yet. Those 4 police officers have not beaten Rodney King nearly to death. OJ has not happened yet. Both of those things are going to take place while this trial is going on.
Oh, and
Rodney King and
don't
OJ.
forget the earthquake and the first massive fire in California, like what just happened then.
Oh yeah, because the earthquake disrupted the World Series. It broke all sorts of roads and crap.
Yeah, like they
Yeah,
had to shut it all down.
yeah, yeah. So all of this is going on all at once. Leslie Abramson. I asked the question on Twitter today. If y'all follow Medusa and me on Twitter, if you don't follow at least Medusa, that is at Alundra Medusa / Alundra
Blaze.
Blaze. But I asked the question: was Leslie Abramson the most hated woman of the 1990s? Now, the reason I'm asking this is there is a school of thought that believes Leslie Abramson is the reason the Menendez brothers are in prison. Not that what me and Medusa are talking about, that they shot their parents, they killed them, that's murder. But this woman is the reason they're in prison. Feel free to weigh in the chat if you're joining us live. Medusa, your thoughts on Leslie Abramson, the lawyer, the solicitor, the legal badass, um, and the way
If
she went
I ever
about
had
all
to
this.
have a lawyer, I mean, I did well, not that I would murder anybody, but I'm just man. Is she still practicing?
She's 80 something years old. No, ma'am.
Nope.
She
Nope,
retired
she
in
isn't. Is she still practicing? Nope,
she
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 isn't.
retired in the 2000 in the
Did she write a
2000.
book?
I don't think so, and she wouldn't participate in any of the docu-series or the interviews or any of that stuff
I wonder why.
because this is not her proudest moment. She lost. She gambled and she lost.
Do you know that
And
right before this, that one guy that stabbed and killed and murdered and butchered for his dad with a big high profile right before the Menendez case, he was supposed to be electrocuted or gassed or whatever. She got him 3 months probation. That's how badass. Not saying it was great or it should have happened. I'm just saying whatever trial that was, if that one kid, Ariel or whatever his name was, oh my God, that murdering motherfucker killed his father and just in brutal. and she got him off 3 months probation. That's when her ticket, like, it
Oh,
solidified.
it was the mental health thing, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know. Mental health.
Or was it the sexual abuse? Didn't she use the same defense?
Yes, no, it wasn't the same as Mendez because he was first. She found that the dad, and this was legit, the dad ended up sexualizing him so bad that
That's what it was.
she,
Yeah.
yeah, and she found out, and when she mentioned this, when she first met the Menendez boys, something clicked, and I think they used part of that as well, but Lyle was really good at planting conversations way ahead of time, like to that friend and saying, "Hey, did that happen to you too? Oh, I guess I have to I guess I'll tell you, our dad used to do that to us too." So he planted that like 9 months before, the trial even took place. So there's like history of him saying it to people. But this kid was legit and he got off like, but he still murdered his father, either or. And she got him off for 3 months probation. That was it. He was supposed to be fucking electrocuted or something. I
Yeah, and
can't
she's
remember.
constructing the defense, and of course, Jill Lansing is defending Lyle. She's the other woman. For those of you that watch the docu series, her name is Jill Lansing. They had a much different approach. Leslie Abramson is a pit bull, not
Yeah.
very well liked, and being a woman and a lawyer in California was very difficult. If you don't believe me, ask Marcia Clark, who was the prosecutor on the OJ thing. We will talk about at some point this year.
Fuck
Um,
yeah.
but Marcia Clark did not have that easy task either, Medusa. This is
Oh,
like
Marcia Clark. Oh my god, yeah.
yeah, like wrestling though, this is a man's world. The law
Yeah.
is a man's world. How do you think Leslie Abramson did navigating a man's world, or was it that she was too much of a woman and
I
she
don't think
was
any of that had to do with anything. Let's just stop there about her being too
you
much
don't
of a
think the
woman back
gender
then.
mattered?
She no, she held her own prior to all this bullshit, and she could have done it again in this case. But what happened was she got too big for her own fucking goddamn hairstyle in this, and so, and I think
What
she
was
got
that shit
cut.
you women put on your hair back then? Aquanet or
Fuck
Aqua?
off. Yeah, it was Aquanet. That was so good. Yeah, her shit stayed in one place. In fact, she probably inhaled too much of it because on this case, it went straight to her brain. Because I
Yeah.
feel that she totally lost it when she started going pro bono. When the money stopped coming in, Lyle started fucking up, start writing letters, saying, "Hey, give money here." And she stayed on. Now, if I was the lawyer, I would have exited. When shit like that started falling apart, I would have passed it on at this point.
But how do
Because
you
she
do that
knew
when this
right
is
then
the
and there
biggest
when she
case
was
in
playing
the
hangman in the fucking juror room with fucking Eric, it's like she was like playing footsie with these fuckers. It was horrible to see.
in all fairness, that was trial number 2. Because the thing that everybody remembers is all the pictures of the boys together. And I have, of course, because it's what we do here. There's one. This is one of the more famous ones, the sweaters. We'll get there in a second,
Oh,
Medusa.
that was horrible for them
Uh,
to wear.
there you go. And then this one, so these boys are in knit sweaters, glasses they don't need. Um, the question I have that about this is Leslie Abramson doing what all of us have seen in crime shows as of late. This is jury manipulation. This is emotional what am I trying to say, where you're tugging on the heartstrings of the jurors, trying to make these guys look innocent. They're not
Yes,
tanned, so you put them in pastels so that their skin color looks a certain way. You put
harboring
glasses
or
on someone
whatever.
with just glass, because they don't require a prescription. She's going for a very specific message here. Do you think that was part of her undoing?
I think she chose wrong because those guys are not like that. And everyone saw through that beforehand. And I think she was trying to portray them as so innocent, and they weren't. Everyone knew that they were at 50-50. And even to come in like that, they look like a fucking bunch of clowns. Really. It was not a good look. It wasn't. And it was a part of the downfall. And I think Abrams, I think she knew that she was on a down, I mean, she knew. She kept she kept, overruled. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, she was just, I think she knew she was losing.
And again, not to argue with you, she's losing the second trial. The
Yes,
very
second trial,
first
sorry.
trial,
It
there's
was a
no
hung
OJ.
jury twice.
Twice. They're tried separately. So
Yeah.
Eric is tried, Lyle is tried. That's why Jill is representing Lyle and Leslie is representing Eric. And Eric Menendez testifies 15 days. It took him 15 days to tell his story. Not once, but
Oh,
twice.
oh,
Eric
Eric?
Menendez. Mhm.
Yeah.
Lyle will testify in the first trial, but because of the things he did while he was in jail waiting the second trial, like writing letters and asking people for money and all this other crap, they couldn't put him on trial. They couldn't put him in the witness box.
No.
So the question becomes, Madusa, how believable and credible do you believe they were? Let's talk about the first trial where the sexual abuse allegations were allowed, where all the witnesses in the world were allowed. Let's talk about that trial first. Started in 1993. Um,
92,
what
93.
what do you what did you, as just a however old you were at the time, wrestling in WCW, what did you think of all that? What did you
Of
make
the
of it
first
all?
trial or second trial?
Yeah, the first trial. Let's talk about the first trial because they're
It was
going to go through.
confusing. I really wanted to get my bearings and get my information correct, because it was shocking to hear. And I mean, it did cross my mind like, "Oh my god, if that's true, that's horrible." But you fucking killed your parents, it's no excuse. I mean, you should get manslaughter. You know what I mean? It is. I get it. I do get it. I get it. I can say that. Anybody that wasn't in my shoes or their shoes that lived through something like that, you don't understand. They I wasn't rich like them as a child by any means to have it, entice me to do something so insane, but when I heard it, I was like, "Oh god, not another one," and oh la la la, fucking father, blah. But I needed to get because it really pulled on your shoestring. I mean, it just
Mhm.
your heartstrings. It just nobody likes to hear abuse, right? Because right away it makes it soft. Like everyone turns soft and they feel sorry and they get all emotions. That's the problem. People let their emotions get in the way. Fuck. You can't, your heart, your emotions, throw it out. Your feelings, throw it out. You've got to go for the facts. You got to listen, compartmentalize. Da, 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 da. Okay. And I don't know. The first trial, it was like a fucking pay-per-view. They would have made more money and they could have paid for their own trial if it was a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Jesus
Well, we
Christ.
talked about the court TV, but it was must see. There wasn't OJ, there wasn't the Rodney King deal. And LA, of course, is starting to become this place. Yeah, Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, killing and raping women in the
Ugh.
80s, and people were afraid in their own homes. Then you have the Menendez brothers. Then you've got
Well, they
the
were
people.
around Beverly Hills too after that whole murder. They all thought that there was somebody, that it was Castro or, Fidel or whoever they thought it was.
And the mafia. Yeah,
And
they
the
were calling the
mafia, and so everyone
mafia.
started buying
Yeah.
their own guns and had their own security guards outside their plush palisade.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Palatial
Jesus.
estate is the phrase you're looking for,
The
ma'am.
what?
The palatial estate
Yeah,
they had.
palatial estates, yes. I was thinking the
So the
Palisade, whatever, they're just on fire, but
so one of the interesting things is that both juries are going to be hung. That they don't have a decision, they don't have a guilty verdict. Now, in the stipulations, the defense was allowed to present this sexual abuse defense, mitigating circumstances, fearing for our lives because we were going to tell everybody and our parents were going to kill us, so we killed them first.
that doesn't make it right.
But
Fuck.
they also had the manslaughter option, which makes it less right and more okay, I suppose, if
Mm.
the mitigating circumstance would lead you to commit manslaughter. So they had to choose manslaughter or murder. and they couldn't choose either. The jury, that is. On either case, there was not a verdict delivered. So we automatically go to a second trial. The second trial is where things get really interesting once you get past what Leslie Abramson tried to do with the defense, meaning putting them in sweaters, putting them in glasses, preparing them, hours
It was
on end
too
a day.
obvious compared to the first time, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So the second trial, this man right here, many of you may recognize. This is the judge. His name is Weisberg. He excludes a lot of the evidence, limits the amount of witnesses to 64, suppresses the sexual assault defense, and he tries the brothers together. They also remove manslaughter as a sentence. So you are either going to acquit the Menendez brothers or convict them of murder. A conviction that in California, despite the fact the death penalty was all but out by 72 with the way they did the legal proceeding, and then 79, because it was a lying in wait, because it was a premeditated crime, they were eligible for the gas chamber.
Yes, premeditated that it was.
Yeah. So, well, they called it lying in wait, but same thing. Premeditated.
Yeah.
They planned it, they executed it, no pun intended,
Right.
and then they tried to cover it up. So, this is where they're at on the second trial. And this is what Madusa was talking about when you see Eric and Leslie Abramson playing tic-tac-toe. Leslie Abramson continued to object to the point where she got herself put in contempt of court.
Yeah.
She would not follow the judge's instructions. This is also happening. The second trial is also happening at a time when O.J. Simpson is sucking up all the oxygen of anything that matters in Southern California. Your thoughts, ma'am? Does that have any bearing? Did the O.J. Simpson trial have any bearing on this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it did. I feel it did.
In what way?
Because this was still going. It was still hanging, right?
Yep.
And then you had the O.J. and then the Rodney.
Right? Rodney, then O.J.
Rodney, then O.J.
Yep.
And I mean, everything for Rodney. O.J. got acquitted, or you know what I mean? And
let me back up just a second, Madusa, because I guess we're kind of assuming everybody understands.
They were going to set a precedence with these two white rich boys.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's back up just a second. Rodney King gets pulled over, 4 cops, he's handcuffed, they beat him, 4 cops walk away, acquitted, riots in Los Angeles.
Yes.
O.J. Simpson, accused and arrested for killing his ex-wife and her husband, Ron Goldman, and takes the police on a police chase, and he is acquitted. I have, and we will expand on it when we talk about O.J., long held that O.J. Simpson's acquittal is a direct correlation to Rodney King's trial and the outcome there. Then that was an apology to Los Angeles County for beating the shit out of Rodney King and allowing those cops to walk away. Not only did they allow them to walk away, they were acquitted. They went back to the job. They got their pensions, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Had no business. And it's on videotape. This isn't, we heard this, blah. It's on tape.
I remember that like yesterday.
So if anybody didn't know what me and Madusa were talking about, I just wanted to fill that in, and I'm sorry if I editorialized, but it was on videotape. They're beating the shit out of this guy, and he's handcuffed on the ground. The defense was, well, he was on high on angel dust. That motherfucker is on the ground, okay? He is.
Yeah, and 4 of them.
And 4 of you are on top of him. He's not going anywhere.
What was their purpose of pulling him over anyway?
I forget. Driving while black, probably. I mean, it is Los
Driving
Angeles.
while black. Those fuckers. Yeah, because back then the fucking cops didn't give a shit. They were fucking
if you watch
people over for no reason.
If you watch any cop movies about LA, there's a lot of racism, and that's what it is 100% a fact. It is not even a
I'd
And
like to find
imagine
out there. I have to go. Once we do that, we'll do the kind of the OJ and Rodney kind of adjacent together because I really want to know the purpose of why they fucking pulled him over. I can't remember why they even did it. It just
yeah,
got
well,
so lost up in of them beating on that fucking guy and then all the riots and fires,
the
so
riots, the fires, and then, of course, we
yeah,
get OJ,
yeah.
and the Menendez brothers, in the meantime, are, trying to get
Keep
an acquittal.
face.
Yeah. Um, but they lose,
Yes.
and they lose big. And then they lose their appeal, and they lose their appeal, and they lose their appeal.
Well, and no pun intended, because I think their appeal to the public was being lost as well. You know what I
Yeah, I was
mean?
gonna ask you, how much public support do you think they had the first trial versus the second?
I mean, completely flopped, vice versa. I think that
What
everybody
changed?
was with them on the first trial. If
Mhm.
they would have they had one juror to it was just by one juror, and if they could have got that one juror, they would be walking today on that first trial. But thank God for that pit bull lady bitch, fucking great lady, stuck to her goddamn guns, and just it looked like an old white nasty, oh, mean school teacher, but she knew her shit and she would not budge. She was calling every other jury, "You fucking dumb bozo bitch. You don't know your shit. You feel sorry for these they're lying to you," she kept saying. They're lying to you. And I was like, God bless this woman, man. So, yeah, if it wasn't that was that one juror, they would be walking if it wasn't for that one juror. And then they had to go through it all again. And I think everybody was behind them. I mean, this could have changed the trajectory of a lot of things if they went walking. Oh my God, things would have changed for about how people would say I was raped by my parents, and it would have been looked like that all the time. I think, you know what I mean? They would have grossly emphasized or, coddled the fucking people that would be lying about shit like that, God forbid. But thank God it had to go to the second trial because thank God for that juror.
Do you believe Jose Menendez sexually assaulted his children?
Even with Here's my thing. They were good actors, the kids, because it was almost believable. I don't care what anyone says. It was the acting was believable. But them watching them on some of bits of the trial and on the other story on TV that I watched, their mannerisms were so different than the other Netflix story from the other two actors, right? So the actors were really good actors, but the boys were almost arrogant. Like, it was like, I've already based my feeling upon these pompous fucking little assholes anyway. So I just, they were arrogant. I can't stand them now anyway for what they did. But as far as their dad, maybe he did, and shame on him. But if the mother knew, shame on her. But it gives them no right to fucking 12 bullets to their parents. It just,
Mhm.
nope. There's no for, nope. Mm-mm.
Okay. I
Nope.
I accept that.
Even if he did, which isn't right, been there. You don't go fucking blasting your parents.
Mhm.
Unless it's in
Uh,
self-defense and he was, coming at you, gonna kill you. Remember, the boy said they thought, allegedly, my parents are gonna kill me. There was no attempts,
no.
for fuck's sake.
Yeah, so that was the argument, was it was out of fear. What
Stupid.
is the motive then in
The
Medusa's mind?
motive from the kids?
Yeah, why did they kill their parents?
Because Lyle was a sociopath. He was a fucking he was a crazed kid. He
You
was
can
a
say
kid.
sociopath because 'cause you're gonna make a point for me. Go ahead.
Okay, yes, that he was.
Well, no, the reason I say that is because Leslie Abramson actually got the word banned from the trial. They were not allowed to refer to Lyle or Eric as sociopaths
How did she get that banned?
because it was
Because it wasn't
inflammatory.
an you know what? It wasn't a medically diagnosed, and that's why they couldn't, I bet.
Inflammatory to the jury.
Inflammatory to the jury, or that too.
So it was inflammatory language.
Oh.
So, um, yeah. So the motive, if you read and you watch, is $14 million essentially. They're being cut out of the will because they're both,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah, but
they're
he basically have told family members and other people, these kids have not earned anything. They're not doing this, they're not doing that. And I've seen some parents very hard on their kids, just watching my friends and their parents. But I mean, when they're in Ivy Leagues and they're going to Harvard or Columbia, I mean, you expect something out of these children. I would expect something out of my child. If you got offered or got into Harvard or Columbia or whatever, I would expect a little extra.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Not just to fuck up. I would
Yeah,
expect you to respect the fact that you're able to go to Harvard when there's other kids that probably may be more academically inclined and they don't have the means to do it. So do not fuck this up, you
and maybe
know?
you bought your way in, which is probably what they
Or he
did.
may have bought his way in. Correct. The father.
'Cause, let's face it, Jose had the connections and the money.
Yes.
Lyle was a horrible student. He got suspended for plagiarism. He didn't get along with his roommates.
Yes.
Eric was much more the follower of the group of the
Yes.
2, I believe. Um, but we can agree they committed murder. Don't necessarily know why, because if you do or you don't believe that they were sexually abused, um,
It doesn't matter. They murdered their fucking parents, and
well,
they
I
were
get
in their
that.
right mind. And how I know
Well,
they were in their right mind? Maybe not right after when they shot him, they might have been stung, but they went on to life. They went to the gym, they played tennis, they had communication, they went out to dinner. Lyle went out and fucked his girlfriend. I mean, they were fucking normal after that, spending money, Rolexes. I'm sorry. No,
so the the sentence could have been the death penalty. It was life without
should have
parole.
been.
They've been in prison for 30 years at this point, and the Netflix documentary did a nice job of showing how they went to separate prisons as part of the last fuck you to them. But they have been put back together since 2018. They've been in the same prison in San Diego. Um, the question I have, Medusa, is we are going
Mhm.
to have a resentencing. It was a request filed by a former district attorney in 2023. It was supposed to happen tomorrow, or no, Thursday, Friday. It's supposed to happen Thursday and Friday. That's been moved because of the Palisade fires. So the hearing will be in March.
Again, fires. Shit
Yeah.
like this don't happen.
So the hearing will be in March, and it will.
Again, their hearing was postponed because of fires. And here we are, fucking 30 years later, their trial is being postponed because of fires.
Correct.
Jesus Christ.
So the fires have delayed the resentencing, and the resentencing hearing is simply
I'd love to be
can
a juror in this motherfucker.
can they receive parole?
No.
Now, Medusa, this is the interesting question because we love hypotheticals. You just said no, but they've spent 30 years of a life sentence in prison.
Yeah, what's a
They
life
were
sentence?
they were sentenced and one they were sentenced by a jury, convicted by a jury, not a judge, and um they've had all their appeals. Every legal aspect of the way we do things in the judicial system in this country has been used. It's exhausted. But now, because of mitigating circumstances, because of the sexual assault, because of the Menudo accusation,
Wait, what
they're
sexual assault?
the they're talking about they killed their parents because Jose Menendez sexually assaulted them. This is what's becoming an accepted part of this trial, and that's what's got them
Yeah, but
along with
that's why they were put to prison. They already said that his dad raped them back
so that
then. How can they reuse the same bullshit?
because they're saying that it wasn't considered properly in 1995 or 6.
It wasn't considered properly?
Nope, any more than Leslie Abramson giving instructions to somebody during the penalty phase, a defense witness to say something a specific way that was actually perjury, and they tried to say that she did not properly defend them either. That was one of their appeals.
Good
So
luck. Good luck.
they did
No,
not.
I'm gonna
They say that it was not considered properly. That people dismissed it because men didn't get raped.
oh.
30 years later, we have far more information and sex statistics and all of this other stuff. So the question becomes, do they deserve resentencing?
Resentencing, yes, death.
So you think that 12 people should decide whether 12 people got it right 30 years ago?
No. I don't even think they should be coming up at all. I think it's bogus and bullshit. And then I think the whole the
Menudo.
Menudo guy coming back from when he was a boy band, when his dad owned it. I mean, not his dad, but the Menendez dad owned it. And coming out in 2023 for the first time saying he sexually assaulted me.
Yeah, let me verify it was 2023, and also
Does
let me
he have
come.
proof back then? Does he have pictures of pedophile pictures of him and him and Jose together?
Let me
Does he
also.
have a pair of underwear with his cum stains on it? Does he have, pictures of anal and I mean, I don't
earliest
mean to sound
report is
harsh or anything, but for fuck's
earliest
sake,
report is April
we're
18th,
30 years
2023.
later, where is the, statue of what is it called?
Statute of limitations.
Yes.
There's not one on murder. There is one on, well, in some states there may not be one on rape. It was April 18th, 2023.
Okay.
So not 2
Here's
years
my
ago.
thing, the Menuda guy. If you were raped, it sucks. But to wait till 2023? What are these boys promising you?
So I wanted to clean something up. The
I mean,
resentencing.
if he was raped, then oh my God, it's horrible. But what I don't understand is it's just like him coming out in 2023. If he had never said anything to anybody until now, shame on him. He's no better than these boys fucking killing their parents.
Yeah, I don't
Why
know.
didn't he fucking step up when these boys were on trial?
No idea.
I'm sorry. If I was a new judge in that, I'd definitely take that into consideration.
Yeah, no idea. I mean, people deal with trauma in their own way. So
Oh, I
we
know.
we
I
can't
know, I
we,
get
we
it.
can't be harsh about the way the man deals with trauma. We
I'm
can be
not. I'm
suspicious about.
not pointing my finger like, "Oh, your trauma's worse than mine or mine's worse than yours." But there is a point of right and wrong, and here's my thing. This kid continued to do music. He continued to choose to do music by the man that raped him because he wanted the notoriety and he loved what he was doing and making the money. That's how I would see it. You had a choice to say no and step away from your music.
Mhm. So
Just like people have the right to either send an NDA or not. Like, "Oh, okay, I do want this out or not. Oh, I'm gonna promise you a career in wrestling, ma'am, but you gotta blow me first, and I'm gonna put you on TV, and I'm gonna give you 300,000. Just sign here." "Huh? Oh, you really are? Okay." Yeah, that's stupid shit. Anyway, don't I get so fucking hot with
I know you
stupidness.
do. We're gonna disagree on this though, because I think that people, and it's okay. You have a very black and white perspective. Mine's a little more gray. We're going to, but what I wanted to say, back up, is that when I said resentencing, they've been sentenced to life without parole, going to die in prison. A
Good.
resentencing gives them the option of parole, and the way California law is written, because they were both in prison before they were 30 and they both spent 30 years in prison because they're counting the jail time for the trial,
Yeah, 3
they
years,
could
33
actually,
years. Okay.
they could actually be released. That's what I was getting at. So that's when I said resentencing. And I
Good luck,
asked you a question
boys
that
on the streets.
may have been unfair, but do you believe that they should be eligible for resentencing? Is the way I should have asked that question. So you don't.
Unless there's 100% proof of what?
Well, here's the problem. The two people are dead.
Exactly. There's only proof that they killed their parents.
Yeah. So the
You know what, Red?
perpetrators
It's
are.
like me saying, you know what? I don't like the way you you never wore the t-shirt you gave me. You hurt my feelings. I'm gonna take a shotgun and I'm gonna blow you. I'm gonna blah. I mean, give me a fucking break. I don't know. It's just I know that's a stupid analogy, but I get so
You're saying that they acted in selfish self-interest. And
yes.
yeah, I get you. Um, I mean, that's why I think it's so debatable. It's gotten a lot of traction, Medusa, in these revisiting, and that's one of the reasons
Oh,
Netflix,
and
of course,
it should really make people's assholes pucker because if they're able
challenging
to
the
if
legal system.
people if what kind of message is that?
No. Well, again, most laws are written with mitigating circumstances, and the idea being that they did not consider the gravity of the accusation of the sex abuse.
I get the anger. I get the torment. I understand the festering to where you get to a boiling point where you crack. But these boys weren't in a cracking. It was premeditated for a while. You know what I'm saying? It
Mm,
wasn't, I'm sitting in my room and one day I just fucking come downstairs and nothing was planned. You know what I mean? This is
mhm. I
just,
think so. I think I get what you're saying
you
because,
know what I mean? Where
well,
someone
to your point, they lived a year like nothing mattered or happened,
yes, you guys,
and
you
that's
can't
not
let this
necessarily a
manipulate
victim.
what is real and what is not. They lived a lavish life for a whole year, saying our parents would be proud of what we did. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, again, I think it was an interesting murder trial. It's one that I actually remembered watching parts of, and the graphic and gory nature of it was a little shocking.
Well, back
Obviously,
then it was because it wasn't much you didn't talk much about that, let alone being a boy, being raped as a
that's
boy.
what I was
It
getting
was
at when we
shocking as
opened this
fuck, and
show.
that's why everyone bowed down to it.
Yeah, when we opened this conversation, this isn't, because you've already said it. I'm not telling state secrets. This isn't an 8-year-old girl reporting a rape. These are two wealthy, good-looking, athletic, well-to-do, live in Beverly Hills men in a time when men didn't do that. And
And I
so
was an 8-year-old that didn't know.
right.
I
And
mean,
that's
and I
tragic,
knew what was right and wrong.
and you know how sorry I am that that happened to you. That is it's
Oh,
god awful.
eh,
It's horrendous.
it is. But
But
again,
well, not a but to you, but on the issue of these guys, um, you really never heard of male victims.
no, no. But
Did
I'm
that
sure it
make this
happened.
did that make this more believable though?
Of course it did because, I
More
mean, it was
intriguing,
all
more sexy, whatever.
masculinity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're challenging masculinity, you're challenging machismo, you're challenging Cubano culture. Would that be why they wouldn't tell anybody?
I don't know. I think though too, there was a story in there. They said that, their dad believed in Romanism and that men together are wonderful and it was part of manhood. And, whatever their belief was, they spun it and exercised it that their father was doing it to a 5-year-old
Mhm.
and teaching them of manhood. I just, I don't, I'm sure that probably has been exercised in this world somewhere under those pretenses of whatever. But remember, Lyle got all of that information from books and skits they wrote.
Yeah. So, yeah, and the whole Roman bonding, Greek bonding, was usually mutual masturbation before battle.
Yeah. Well,
For those
that
who don't
and
know.
yes. I mean, men being together been around a lot longer than you and I have ever, and I think that um, people don't know that it was it was normalized. That was a way of life. But
It was a
then
thing. Yeah.
I think later on in the world, as Catholics and everything started, forbidding whatever, it's like hid what was and turned it into a bad. And then somehow when you threw children in the mix into rape, and then the whole world would fall apart and use it as a soft, and then it's kind of like this story here. So, I mean, you throw children in the mix being raped, people just fall apart, right? I
Should
got something for you here. Here's the thing.
should
So today, statistics indicate that more than 3 American children die each day from abuse or neglect. It is a subject that must be reckoned with, but it is also a subject that is being ludicrously overworked in the justice system. It has become an increasingly popular defense to gain an acquittal or an insequential, whatever, verdict for the most heinous of crimes. Perpetrators need only to scream out, "I was abused," and there is an expectation of forgiveness. Child abuse is such a volatile subject that a large section of the public need only hear the words to become passionate and advocates of acquittal, no proof necessary. That's what I got.
Mhm.
I'm done with it. And
Yeah.
that's the story.
Well, there we are. Um,
There, I just a lot of feeling, and then I had to put that down.
yeah, yeah, that was very well said, and an unfortunate reality because those children that need rescued from abuse
Exactly.
may be treated like the child that cried wolf
Yes.
because of that.
Well, and
Um,
here's a not a caveat, but here's when I was 8 or 7, whenever I was, that I told Betty what happened. And I remember sitting right on the floor looking up to her and telling her what happened. She looked at me and slapped me across the face and told me I was lying.
mhm,
I just sat there and I didn't know what to do. It's like, this is supposed to be my mommy, and I'm telling her something, and that there, which never happened in the Menendez story ever. I could see a child cracking and not knowing what to do.
yeah, yeah,
But for somehow, I don't know, just went on.
yep.
So that's the difference.
Well, we live in a
Crazy.
country where we enjoy a lot of freedom, and those
Mhm.
freedoms are protected by laws. And the minute that the laws no longer become black and white, but become gray, and the minute you have the Leslie Abramsons of the world twisting what the law is written and says,
Mhm.
we've lost it all
Yeah, for everybody,
for
you know?
everybody.
And that's what's gotta stop. I mean, defense attorneys, I get it, but a lot of it is just what do they call show and pompous and whatever the fuck it is.
One day, let's talk about Casey Anthony if you want to get me real hot and bothered,
Okay.
where they spun that bullshit about how the girl drowned in the pool, and that was the day the trial started. Well, if your daughter really drowned in the pool and it was an accident, then why didn't we say that from the beginning?
There is a lot behind that one.
I will lose my shit right on this show. Like we're talking about Mercedes Monet times 10. Uh,
Whoa!
I said I will lose my shit.
Ah,
Um,
that's gonna be hot.
that's gonna be hot. But
That's a
anyway,
good one. I would like to do that one first before
well,
OJ.
we can talk about killer women. We talk about Eileen if you want to. She
Oh,
was a psycho.
Jesus. Was
She
she
was
that lady that traveled?
she was the prostitute serial killer in Florida.
Yes,
Eileen
yes,
Warnos. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That was raped, that was brutally assaulted, and then she decided that every man in the world deserved to die. So she killed I believe she
I'm
killed
not
12 men.
laughing, but I'm just
Yeah,
saying, god
yeah.
damn.
She's like, "Fuck
She had
you,
a vengeance for men.
kill them all."
She
Um,
could have been Lorraine Bobbitt and just fucking took off their
yeah,
penis.
God, we're gonna wrap this all up, folks. Do you have
That's
any
another
questions
one that
before
was a TV that was a big TV
Oh,
show. I
Lorraine
think
and
that
John
was
Bobbitt where she chopped it off? Yeah. And then, of course, WWE, because Vince McMahon is who he is, decided to shoot a spin-off angle of it
yeah.
with Kai and Ty, choppy choppy your pee pee. That's some Vince shit right
What
there.
the fuck is
Oh, he's
that?
horrible.
I mean,
Um,
I bet he was I bet they were laughing so hard fucking do it. Oh my
you
god.
know, him and Bruce and Shane and all
Could
of
you
those
imagine
clowns.
the room laughing so goddamn hard on that?
Well,
Oh,
and it was Val Venus, and it couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
and Val Venus.
Yeah. He's such a shit. He's such a shit bag, at least on social media. Medusa said that, not me.
Oh, fuck
Anybody with
off. I did
anybody with
not.
questions to wrap this up for us, go ahead and put them in the chat real quick. Medusa, do you have any final thoughts on these Menendez brothers?
Menendez Brothers. No. Except for the fact I think it's just a waste of TV time and money and anyone that wants to get involved with it. You know what's real. You know what I mean? Just because they didn't say the proper things or things are thought about differently now. The truth is the truth. You murdered your parents. Not just once, but 12 fucking shots. Period.
And you don't think 30 years in prison is enough?
Mm-mm. You killed. What kind of message is that, Russ? Bro,
Well, you haven't
the
asked me my
fuck?
opinion. This is your show. So
What
that's
the
why
fuck?
I get to ask all the questions and
So
make you the
anybody can
hard
go
ass.
shoot somebody and think, oh, because times change, I might get off in 15 years now instead of 30. So I'm just going to
Mhm.
go blast somebody? That's
Right?
insane.
Well, I don't believe in the death penalty, so I'm glad they didn't get the gas chamber. But
Why don't you?
because life is not ours to take.
Do what?
Life isn't mine to take. It's a spiritual belief
I
as
would
much
hate
as
to
it
be the
is
guy to turn on that electric chair or turn on the gas chain. I wouldn't want to do it.
it's not ours to take.
Well, then what do you think about the military people?
Oh, and hold on. This from Cylon, Susan Smith, South Carolina.
Yeah, Susan
I
Smith.
I'll get real hot about her too, because you talk about somebody that was a fool. What about
Okay.
what were you saying,
Okay, so I
military?
got something's going to get you hot.
Okay.
Okay. So Susan Smith and those kids. How old were those kids?
They were in car seats, so they were very young.
Like one was a kind of a newborn. Was a newborn. And
They were babies.
like all young. Like
2 and
okay.
4, 1 and 3. I don't
I don't
know.
remember, but they were young.
I remember it happening. It was the 90s.
Okay. So this here we need to get we need to write these down. That's a good one because that was that the 90s?
95, 94, something like that.
Okay.
I was at my grandparents'
4
house
and
in
younger.
Iowa.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
guys, I know this is going to be hard for you to swallow. But even in the 90s, right? They did not advocate they didn't really know as much as they do now if we're going to do the Menendez way. That um having babies really changes women after.
3 years old and 14 months old.
Okay.
She's been in
So you
prison
don't
30 years.
think she suffered from what, people?
Postpartum depression.
Very. And I guess there was, I'm going to have to research on this, so I'm not calling it, but I think there was major mental problems after her last baby
She had
and no
severe
one
depression.
listened and no one listened.
Yep.
So this could be a medical issue. Not that it was right, but I think there was a cry for help or something, and I don't know. I don't know. Not a doctor. I don't know anything about this, but I can't wait to get my hands on this one.
Yeah. Oh, I don't worry. I've got them notated, ma'am.
Oh, you do
OJ,
you? Okay.
Rodney, Susan Smith, Eileen Warnos.
Who is
Shit,
this Woodward
let's
woman?
throw
Who's
Richard
Louise
Ramirez in there
Woodward?
too. Huh?
Who's Louise Woodward?
I don't know, but Morty says she's like one of the most hated people in the 90s.
Of what?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that Louise Woodward is on the list of most hated women of the 90s also.
I don't
I need
know.
I don't
Of
know if
what?
Morty said
Anybody can tell us? Who's
the
Louise
British
Woodward?
nanny. Oh,
Ooh,
Eileen. Okay, the
Eileen.
British nanny. Um,
British
so
nanny. Huh.
this is kind of the new thing for trash talk. We're gonna talk a little wrestling if
A little
Medusa's
bit.
involved.
Like a little
And
wrestling. Yeah.
then we're gonna do this. We hope y'all enjoyed this. I didn't see any questions. I was
Ooh,
serious about
Mortis has got a
answering
link
them.
for us for that one later. That'd be good.
Louise Woodrow. Okay. Wonderful, Morty.
Boy, we got a
Um,
lineup.
yeah. We've just booked the first quarter of the year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Well, then we
It is
need you guys to do your own research on all of these and participate and see what you come up with. And we'd love to hear your response because everyone, if you can tell, I mean, Red and I are like brother and sister, but we don't agree on everything. And that's what makes it so dynamic.
nope, we don't. But
Except for when it comes to t-shirts, then we're all right.
this shirt is awesome.
It's my
Far
brother
better,
from another
far
mother.
better than the Menendez brothers. So no, there that we will also keep you updated. Also the mom and dad with their kid. Oh yeah, Joe
Oh
Ramsey. Yeah,
my
yep,
God. That's still ongoing.
yeah. They still don't have a clue, but they have a
Yeah,
clue, but they don't have a
right.
yeah.
Someone is
Wasn't
being quiet for something. I don't know what.
for so long because that was also the 90s or early 2000s.
Yeah, what the fuck was with the 90s? What kind of vaccines did all these kids get to do all this shit?
Silent, we got you covered, brother. We doing the OJ trial too, because I
Yes.
want to annoy Medusa with my love for Johnny Cochran.
I hate that you
So
love him. So I'm gonna bring up the whole fucking goddamn his daughters.
stop it. I just
Yeah.
like you said, if the glove don't fit, you must acquit.
I can't believe and it was like one of these. It was like he's like this.
Yeah.
It don't fit. Nanu, nanu, nanu,
Here's a,
nanu, it don't
here's
fit.
a spoiler, folks. The minute Mark Furman took the stand and then took the fifth about using the not so fun N word 30 times, the case the case was over. It was
Yeah.
over. It was done. Forget it. You cannot have the detective sergeant investigating OJ using that word where everybody heard him. He shouldn't use it anyway, but you really don't want to use it if you're the cop trying to put this guy in prison. God
That is
almighty.
insane, dude.
How
Oh, and
stupid.
that's the other one too, Tanya Harding.
Oh, yeah.
What
I
fucking
like
possessed that bitch?
Look, Nancy Kerrigan, Tanya Harding. I have another podcast where I make this joke that Tanya Harding is my favorite Olympian because she was willing to do whatever it takes to win the gold.
Didn't she
And all
go up on wrestling and boxing too?
oh yeah, like the celebrity death match. Remember the old claymations on MTV? She was there.
The what? Yeah, she was boxing somebody. I can't remember.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we
Okay.
have a ton of stuff, Medusa. This is great.
Yeah.
So the verdict sounds like the Menendez brothers are guilty. No, don't let them out of prison. Regardless of whether they were sexually
Let them
assaulted
get
or not.
help in prison. They can get their masters in psychology and fucking whatever, and they're good.
Murder is murder is murder. Is that what we've learned tonight?
That's what I know.
Until we talk about Susan Smith and she changes her opinion. So,
Oh, for fuck's
spoiler.
sake. If it's legit, I'm not saying her killing her kids. A mother killing her own kids is whack
Oh, yeah.
job. Is it
Yeah, that's
that is a
horrible.
fucking
That's
whack
horrible.
job, but we know postpartum is a major thing. It's just like menopause.
Oh,
Now we know why women were in the asylums back in the day because no one knew what menopause was, and it changes everything in women's brains, right? They go crazy. Shut
complete
up.
chemistry. Yeah,
Yes,
complete
the
chemistry
chemistry,
change.
everything is off balance. I mean, truism, true, true, true. And when your body is depleted from, estrogen and testosterone, it is the most dangerous chemical ever that can happen because your brain absolutely dries up. It causes fast, quick Alzheimer and dementia in twofold, and it just makes you crazy. So that's why you saw a mass deport of women going into the asylums back in the day. And that's because of menopause. They never knew what it was. So fast forward, there's another thing that happens when a woman has a baby. It's another chemical imbalance from all of the change. And it's like I can't think of everything right now, but the brain depletes itself and it goes into this postpartum and women don't even know who they are.
Mhm.
It's just
Yeah.
scary. It's
And they used to call
scary.
it, like, the blues. We were so dismissive of it,
The
about, like,
what?
the blues. "Oh, she's just blue,"
Oh,
and
yeah.
just like we're dismissive of a concussion. "Oh, he just rang his bell." Speaking of, shout out to JD McDonough, finished a wrestling match last night after banging his head. Turns out, broken ribs and a punctured lung.
Oh,
Yeah, so
dude, we were watching that last night, and my
yeah,
husband, I never heard him scream. He goes, "Holy fuck." And I was like, and I kinda looked, I went, "Oh my fucking god." That kid just spinal tapped his
yep.
fucking whole back, and then his head smacked so goddamn hard, it was like a wing wing, and as soon as he came back, he was wobbly, and I said, "He shouldn't be in the ring. Something's gonna happen." And sure enough, I feel they should have called it right there because I
Mhm.
feel him continuing in the match aggravated everything worse.
Yeah, Michael Cole even was saying we needed help, but yeah, he finished the
Good
match.
for Michael Cole.
What a tough son of a bitch, though. Good lord, because he
Okay,
took
that only
um,
goes so far, and that's
I
all I used to
know.
do back in the day. I would never say I was hurt, and I'd work when I was fucking hurt, and that's part of my generation's problem, only because of what we were, in an environment of
Yeah.
don't say anything, you'll lose your job basically without saying that that's what they said to us. But it
Yeah,
was a known thing.
I'm genuinely surprised after watching it back because I didn't watch it live last night,
Yeah.
that they didn't throw the X and call it and be done, "Hey, we're done. We're done here,"
I
but they didn't.
mean, and
They
look
finished
at
the match.
Dakota Kai when she
Yeah.
fucking hit her head the other night.
She's
Dude,
concussed. She's out indefinitely.
that girl has so many injuries. I think her
She
meniscus is torn again.
and she's pretty good. That's the thing,
I
when
mean,
she's able, you
yeah,
know?
but it's unfortunate. And I'm telling you, when I saw her, it reminded me of Soraya because she went like this when
Oh,
she got
where she loses
yeah,
control of,
just
yeah,
kinda
her.
like this for a sec and I was like, "Oh, oh, fucking stop it. Somebody stop it."
That's
It
like
was
when Tua
horrible.
took that shot for Miami when he got the last concussion,
Who?
the quarterback Tua, when he got that last concussion, Tua Tagovailoa, he's the
Oh,
Miami
god, yeah.
quarterback, and they laid his ass out, and all of a sudden his limbs, he has no control
Yeah,
over them, and they start shaking and all that. Oh God, you talk about scary. That's scary. Because your brain is bleeding and it's instant. So
yeah.
anyway,
It's really it's almost like
why are we so dark and morbid on this show, Medusa? Good
it's
lord.
not dark and morbid, these are just hard, cold facts of real things happening in life that people don't really talk about, but I mean, even talking about, the Menendez murder and the other things that we talk about, I think it opens it up and brings light to things. And, even years after, people still think a certain way until people have an honest conversation about things, you know?
Yep.
I mean, this is how I feel. This is what I think. It doesn't mean I'm right, but these are my, observations. And I just feel like you plan and meditate murder and you kill somebody and you just don't get to live a life of luxury for a year and then say all these fucking things and then 30 years later saying, you forgot something. It's kind of a mistrial. And oh, by the way, 30 years later, this kid comes out and says he was raped by my dad too. No,
No.
I just throw you out.
Good way to wrap it up. So guys, this is the new Trash Talk. We enjoyed it. I did see, and I forget the name. It was in the comments up here. Somebody really likes our theme that Marcus put together for us.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. Love the intro from this guy right here. I can't pronounce his name. Graham Seidel, maybe?
Love the intro. Thank you.
Love the intro. And
That was Marcus.
He's not talking about the one where you and I are laughing because we can't hold our shit together watching your video talking about ripping some woman's tits off. He's got 4 tits or whatever.
Yeah, 4 tits. I'm confused. What the fuck? Where did 4 tits come on? You fucking 4
We can't
tits.
keep it together on this show, folks, but we will be back sometime in February. It's Royal Rumble season.
We will? Hold on.
Yeah.
We will.
I think we will. Was that a question? You haven't been canceled yet, Madusa. I mean, come on.
I don't plan on getting canceled. So, okay, so we've got to. Maybe we can do, I know we've been doing every other week, but maybe we can do next Tuesday. I don't know. It's up to you.
We can do a Rumble post show.
Yeah. When's Rumble this weekend?
Saturday, 6:00 on the Peacock.
That's right. Okay, so yeah, why? I mean, so we've got Rumble this weekend, and then we can do Tuesday on the 4th. Post Rumble would be great.
Yep.
Right?
Yes, it would be.
You let me know. Maybe we can.
Yeah, I know. Let's pencil it in. Charlotte will be back.
Yes.
She's had more.
Because I have to tell you, we're going to have to. We have to do next week because the following week I'm going to be on a cruise and we're not going to be able to do it.
It must be hard living the life you live, ma'am.
And then 2.5 weeks after that, I'm on another cruise.
There you go. So we're going to be back next week, guys. 8:00, probably. I think
Post
it's 8.
Rumble.
Post Rumble, Madusa.
Which story do you want to do? So people can start doing their research. Let's choose now.
What are we doing?
Let's choose. Okay, we're going to do a post Rumble, but we're going to talk about one of these things. So
you want to do both?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's
do a post Rumble quick.
Okay, let's talk about the Rumble. And my man, Paul Heyman, will come up, because he's my favorite. And I'm his favorite. Madusa got supplanted and didn't realize it. And then, which murder case do we want to talk about? The chat's been very active. Somebody reminded me, it was Mortis. Amy Fisher. I forgot her.
What is Paula Jones and Amy Fisher? What was that?
That was a celebrity boxing match.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Who's Amy Fisher? That sounds real familiar.
The babysitter who shot, it was Joey Beneducci's wife.
Remember her?
Yeah.
Is she still around?
I don't know if she is or not, or if she's in prison. But that was the 90s too, Madusa. The 90s were crazy.
I'm telling you, all of these kids were vaccinated with something that made them fucking butt shit crazy.
This is not an anti-COVID ad, but I did not ever take the shot, so I will not be killing anybody.
There you go. Thank God you didn't take the shot either.
Hell no.
Me either, buddy.
By the way, before we wrap this up, because he's back.
That's why I like you even more. I didn't know that until tonight. Fuck
Scott Peterson. This show,
Scott Peterson. That's another one.
It's a good one. Not a good one, but good topic.
I know what you mean.
This show is also now unofficially sponsored by our other man, Logan Paul, and Prime is back, Madusa.
Fuck Prime. I like Logan Paul, but fuck Prime.
If RFK Jr. messes with my Prime recipe, I'm going to lose my
I hope he does.
worse than Mercedes Moné.
The killer 90s
The
by
90s
far.
Mortis, that is horrible, but I laughed. The 90s were killer. You're
Oh my
not
God.
lying, sir. So we're
Okay,
doing
which
post
one,
rumble.
guys? Which one would you want to see?
Which one do you want us to? Which one, guys? Medusa. While they're talking amongst themselves about which show we're going to do next week,
Yeah.
or which serial killer or incident, pick a men's and a women's winner for the Royal Rumble.
Oh God. Okay. Okay, real quick. What are the gimmicks?
You got Punk, Cena, Rollins, Reigns.
No, I mean the do you have the lineup real quick?
I don't. I was asking you just to pick a men's and
Mortis,
women's.
anybody. What's the lineup for Rumble? Anybody real quick. Can
Well,
you
you're going to
get
have Cody versus Kevin Owens in a ladder match.
Okay, Cody versus Kevin. Okay.
And then you're going to have the men's Rumble and the women's Rumble.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're going to have a 2 out of 3 falls match for the tag titles. Motor City Machine Guns versus DIY.
DIY.
That's Ciampa and Gargano.
Yeah.
Those are the 4 I know. If anyone has any additional ones, let me know.
Okay, so as far as the women's Rumble,
Yep. Who's winning?
Well, I know. Okay, so you've got Nikki Bella coming in, right?
Probably, yes.
And then you've got Jordan Grace.
Yeah, she signed a contract, so she should be in the Rumble. Yes, ma'am.
Dakota Kai's out. So Asuka's back in.
Asuka, Nia,
and
Bianca. Charlotte is back.
Jade Cargill.
Charlotte's got more plastic than Visa these days, but yeah.
Oh,
Charlotte
for fuck's sake. God,
I've been waiting on that one. She looks a lot like Cher and a lot less like Rick. Just an observation.
Yeah, she does look a lot like Cher. I think there's going to be kind of a huge upset because I think that Alexa Bliss may be in there.
Contract dispute reported.
There is?
Yes.
Oh.
The two sides couldn't agree. She's been out a while. She had the mental health deal with Bray, and then she had the baby, and so they wanted her to go back under her old contract, and she wanted
Saraya?
More perks and money. Alexa Bliss.
Oh, okay.
So, as Bray died, and that was really like tasking on her.
Okay.
So, they were very, very close because they worked so close together. I know who my picks are, but
who?
Charlotte Flair.
Do you think she's going to win the Rumble?
It's either her or Becky. And because I think Becky's coming back too. And God help me, and all of your fans know how much I hate this man. CM fucking Punk is going to win the men's Rumble.
I hope so.
Not Roman. Even though we should always throw the ones. Because Roman's
No, I want Fat 2 to win.
Oh, you want Jacob?
Yep.
But I don't think we get it. I think it's too early.
That'd be a good upset, though.
Oh my God, he's so good.
Oh my God, I was like fathom at the like that motherfucker kept going 1, 2.
They messed up the spot where he did the hip attack. They messed up the spot where he did the hip attack because of the camera. But when you watched it on TV, live it may have been fine. But I don't give a shit. Anybody that big has no business doing moonsaults like that.
Why not? Bam Bam Bigelow did.
No. I'm saying he shouldn't have the ability to do it like that.
Oh,
Bam Bam never delivered a moonsault like that.
Oh,
and neither did Vader.
He did him well.
No, I know he did him, but he didn't do it like that, where he did
not
one
like 4 times
after another.
God, Jacob is just the man. Well, let me ask you, what do you think about, honestly, your honest opinion of the Steiner brother, the kid?
Oh, I think he's got the potential to be so good.
Okay, you just said everything. Okay, yeah, he has the potential to be good. He is good, but I don't think he's. I don't think he's a heel.
I think people like to bark with him. I think he had a hell of a move against Sheamus that could have been the finish, and then they decided to do more. They didn't have
Yeah.
to. The
Yeah. I
spear,
didn't yeah, the match was kinda convoluted.
very. Um, but yeah, I think he's got a big upside. I think he's got a little seasoning to do, but he's a young kid. So,
Yeah, but again, 2 plus 2 is 5. I can't buy it
well, that
anymore.
shit was hilarious that Jesse said that on commentary. And then Scott Steiner said he'll come show Jesse.
That
Because
was so
Scotty
good. 2 plus 2 is 5. You can tell he's from the Steiners.
Steiner math, yeah. Um,
Uh,
but they're already putting him with Penta too.
yeah, I just don't think he's main event material yet.
Probably not. Not
Mm.
yet. But I don't think CM Punk should win the Royal Rumble, but I think he's going to.
What about Pillman's kid?
He's terrible.
You don't like his wrestling?
Not at all.
I need to watch him because I haven't seen really any of his matches. He's
I'm
not
sorry
that
if I insulted you, Cylon, because I just said I don't like Pillman.
Punk
Um,
versus Gunther at WrestleMania. That's interesting.
yeah. He'll put a hole right in Pepsi Phil's chest. Be great. I hope he wins.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You fucker. Don't let me poke you in the eye when you lean forward. Come closer.
Like the old Stooges.
Yes.
Um, but no, that's my picks is
You leave my
Charlotte. I'm
punk
gonna go with
alone.
Charlotte and Punk somehow. This is the way I'd pitch this though. You talk about Jacob real
I
quick.
don't think they should give it to Charlotte.
Well, it's the easy answer. I think
Other than Charlotte, who do you think? And I definitely don't
that
think they should give it to Becky.
then Becky because
Nope.
it's a
I'm
surprise.
over all of that.
The problem is they don't have anybody else ready. Not for Rhea. So somebody says Rock wins. BC Flyer. Rock comes in at 30 and wins. Faces Cody. Fantastic creative because the bloodline story needs to keep going. But here's my thought for Jacob. You guys let me know what you think.
Okay.
So Jacob's a badass. We have him be the badass, be the Diesel spot, the Kane spot, whatever. And all of a sudden, Roman's music hits. And you finally get the confrontation between Roman and Jacob. If Roman can get to the ring inside of 2 minutes.
Okay, say that again now. What now?
So Jacob comes out, beats up everybody, throws everybody out. They keep coming. He throws them out. This is called the Diesel spot. You love
Oh,
Kevin Nash, but it's also the Kane spot. It's the Brock Lesnar spot. Basically, it's the spot where one guy dominates the Royal Rumble or lady. In this case, it would be guy. What I would do is have Jacob dominate the Royal Rumble up until all of a sudden it's Roman's turn to come in.
yes.
And here comes Roman. And if he can make it to the ring in 2 minutes, then we're going to have this awesome battle between the two bloodline guys.
Mm-hmm. But then that's when you need The Rock to come in.
Something like that, yeah. Because I think there's got to be a little bit of
The
intrigue.
Rock comes right in, passes Roman, knocks out Fat 2 by mistake, not mistake, but just does something, knocks him out, and all of a sudden he turns around and there's him and Roman.
We're really pushing for a Rock Roman WrestleMania here on Trash Talk, guys. That's the money match.
No, that needs to happen because if it goes on any further till next year, it'll be a dead situation. You know what I mean?
They got to
It
strike
needs
while
to
the iron's
happen.
hot. Yeah, yeah.
It does. It
They
needs
got
to
to.
happen. So we need something like that exciting for the women. Let's just don't pass on the women. I'm not gonna. It's only been 2 hours and 9 fucking minutes. We're gonna wait until we come up with something for the women. God damn it! So come on. How
Jade
about
Cargill.
something
How's
out
this
of the
for-
ordinary? Out of the
Jade,
ordinary.
Jade Cargill coming out from injury, dumping both Bianca and Naomi, and winning the Rumble.
Okay. You got Jade. You've got.
It's just not that many women's options,
You've
Medusa.
got.
But go ahead.
You got Becky, and then you got Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
You got Jade that come in, start battling it out, looking face to face with Charlotte. Becky intervenes, and then for the last entrance would be AJ. AJ comes running in, does her thing, slides in. They all three look at each other. They go together. She counters it, comes off the rope, maybe splashes all three of them. One goes out to the ring, the other, and she's got the other one. And somehow those two fight. That other one gets thrown out. And then it's the last two, whoever that is, probably Charlotte and her. And it would be great if it wasn't too long. It was quick. Somehow she beats Charlotte and fucking AJ gets it against Rhea. Now, that is unpredictable. And nothing's ever been booked like that before. And you have two fucking favorites. One, AJ the crowd would go absolutely bonkers. But if she isn't training and she isn't wrestling and then it ain't happening, I don't know.
I'm always going to be on the Jade Cargill bandwagon.
Really? Hopefully she's been training.
Yeah. She's gotten a lot better, but she's not main event material yet. That's why I think it's too early for her. She's main event material. I sound like a jackass when I say that. What I mean, though, she can't compete with the women that own the top tier of WWE's women's division.
She can't?
She cannot yet, no. They'll eat her alive. That's why they stuck her. I say stuck her. That's why Jade and her were a tag team, is so she could, or Bianca, so she could learn the WWE way of wrestling.
Yeah.
And Bianca Belair is a star.
Yeah.
I love Bianca. I love
do
Jade.
too. She's gorgeous and she's got everything about her.
I could care less about Charlotte, but she's been out for a year and a half. Care less about Charlotte as the character. She's been out for a year and a half. I don't see any way they pass on her.
You think they're going to give it to her?
I think they give her the Rumble, yeah.
Oh my God, there's going to be some pissed off people.
Well, it'll be okay. Her dad will get drunk and start posting on Twitter and Instagram, so it'll be fine. We'll be back to normal. Oh, look at the queen. She's my daughter. I was never there to raise her, but she's my daughter. Woo!
Oh, shut up. I was never there. He didn't say that.
Hold around. We celebrate Ric Flair for being a man whore, but when women do it, it's a bad thing. I don't understand.
Oh, that's right. You know what? I tried telling my husband that too. He goes, well, men can do it. Women aren't supposed to be whores. I'm like, oh, okay, babe. Whatever.
It's not a double standard at all.
No, not at all. Okay. Gene Simmons can screw over 10 million women.
Oh, I love this question because I have an answer for this, Madusa. What's your feeling on Tiffany Stratton? She's one bad stitch away from a wardrobe malfunction, and 15-year-olds and grown-ass men alike are just waiting for it to happen.
There you go. What's my feeling? Push to the gill. I still think she, for that image and stuff, what they're promoting is perfect for that. Absolutely. It is what it is. She still needs a lot of work though. But she's coming along for being fast paced.
Did you watch
fast tracked?
Did you watch her match with Bayley?
No.
Her first title defense on SmackDown?
No.
She hits her 2 signature moves, ball game, Bayley does business. Bayley made Tiffany Stratton look like $1 million.
Really? Well, thank God for Bayley.
And then she hit the finish, and that looks like $1 million when she hits that moonsault.
Oh, yeah, but I see so many moonsaults right now.
It's the flippy business. It's what professional wrestling has become.
I just wish they would stop it and let one fucking person do it on a finish. You've got Tiffany doing it. You've got fucking Fat 2 doing it. It doesn't mean anything almost. It's just, that's where they're wrong.
When Vader did it, it meant business. When Bam Bam did it.
And that's it. What?
I said when Vader and Bam Bam did it, it meant business.
Yes.
So.
Yep, I don't care if it's a man or girl. Only one person should be doing a finish. Period.
Yeah, we answered this, Cylon, but you may have joined us a little bit late. We love Jordynne Grace. another big tool for Triple H to use. Not
Yeah, she
criticizing
just
the woman's
signed
power,
with them too,
but
Cylon.
she's got the look, the work, the size, and she's a different type of woman than what they have. I think this works for them.
She reminds me a lot of she's a smaller Rhea Ripley. You know what I mean? Size.
Without the goth.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying I mean, height-wise, she's a smaller Rhea Ripley.
Well
Really.
built, yeah, very
Yeah.
strong,
Mhm.
good look.
And Jade
Like,
Cargill's kinda in that same category. You know what I mean?
well, if you walked, it's the whole thing of the airport look. If you walk by them in an airport, Medusa, they're gonna catch your attention.
Yes.
All three of them. They're gonna
Yes.
get your attention.
Yes. Yes. I
We
think
hope so.
any chance that Asuka makes I hope so too.
Yeah, we love Asuka.
She's been gone for a while, huh?
In and out, and then I don't think they've been using her. She might be hurt. Somebody confirm that. I don't know,
And I
but
think she's 45 years old, isn't she?
she is, or right at, yeah, 44 or 45.
45. I know she was wanting to slow down. You know?
Well, and they're talking about AJ coming back again. AJ Styles, not
Yeah, he
AJ.
was hurt.
Yeah, so they're talking about AJ's coming back. That would be good for the Rumble. That's where he made his debut in 16. So
See, that would be perfect, full circle, Punk's got to win. And McIntyre, that's my boy. I like him too.
no, you can't be liking McIntyre. He threatened to beat the shit out of CM Punk Monday.
I don't care. I
am
like
for it.
McIntyre.
I am for it.
You're
Beat the shit out of him. That little interaction with him and Paul. Did
Yeah.
you see that?
Oh.
Not only can you be Roman, but you've got a whole bloodline story in 2025 or what it 225K, whatever they call it. The game. I don't game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't game.
25,
But
2K.
the WWE game, it's insanity. You can actually do the whole bloodline story.
See, that's cool as shit.
Like with Yoko and Rikishi and the Wild Samoan. Yeah,
they're all in there.
They're all in there, yeah.
Oh my God.
That's awesome. Maybe
That is
Medusa
and I
will
like
be
the
in there.
fact when that whole thing fell down, the curtain of the 2K25 with Roman on the front, you had Paul's little face in the corner.
He's got the Ulafala. Yes, it was perfect.
It's so good.
Oh, I love Paul Heyman.
You can't be loving my man.
Yeah, well, he's my man because you keep talking shit about him. Talk about how, oh, you didn't sleep, Paul. You're so full of shit.
I did. I gave him shit. I went in the gorilla and I sat down next to him. I said, listen, motherfucker, what kind of fucking bullshit? I didn't sleep. I didn't eat. I didn't. He was laughing his ass off. He was. And I'm like, oh, and I go, what'd you do? To poke yourself in the eye? Give you bloodshed? What the fuck, Paul? I said, as soon as you open your mouth, it was bullshit. He's just laughing so hard. I said, what the truth was, Paul, is that you were up all fucking night, probably working your ass off, putting together a show, and everybody's fucking finishes. You didn't get no sleep, and you had to come up with something.
Yeah. Oh, he's so good, though. But we'll see what happens on Saturday, and we'll talk about it next week. Did we decide on a murder case, folks?
Okay. Let's do the chick with the kids and drowning her, driving in the thing.
Smith? Or Susan Smith?
Let me write her down. Let me write her down.
Susan Smith, South Carolina, 1990s. Like 94.
Susan Smith, right?
Yeah. She killed her children in 1994.
1994. God, I remember that. It was like a red car going into the fucking lake, man.
Well, and it's pretty relevant, Medusa, because it just happened to be the first Google search. Don't judge me. CNN, November 20th, 2024. She was denied parole after 30 years in prison. The don't judge me part.
CNN. She what was
she denied after 30 years in prison. So she's been in prison for 30 years for killing her kids.
But the Menendez brothers won out. Okay. But because she had postpartum and psychiatric things going on, which were probably legit and not these boys, she gets denied parole and these motherfuckers get us. Okay. I check. Okay.
Yeah, they denied her. So So
They
that's it,
denied the
guys.
Menendez boys too? No.
No, they denied her. They're not going to deny the Menendez. Well, they may deny the Menendez brothers. They haven't yet.
They
Not
better
till
if they
next.
know what's best for them.
So next week, Royal Rumble review. It is only 4 matches. I just confirmed that. It's the world title ladder match, the 2 Rumbles, the 2 out of 3 falls, Motor City Machine Guns versus DIY. So we'll review that, and then we're going to talk about Susan Smith.
Yeah.
And we'll be here at 8:00 live, Twitch,
Yeah.
YouTube, X.
Yeah. If I can connect my YouTube.
Well, you can connect it. You just can't comment. I am you right now.
Oh, you are. Maybe that's why I can't connect.
Correct.
You're such a how
There's
come I
something
picked
going
chat
on.
before though? Okay,
I
we'll figure
didn't.
it out now. Okay, folks, bye.
I
No.
didn't do it. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you all for joining. Bring
And
your
thank you,
questions.
Winnie for the fucking shit.
The
For
research
the
was
research.
fantastic, Winter, is what she
Yeah.
said.
Okay, Winter, Susan Smith, 1994. There we go.
We love y'all. Mean
All right.
it. Have a good night.
Thanks. See you. Bye.